Good morning, YouTube friends. Wanted to share progress with my garden. This is Cookie in Hummingbird Heights, and I wanted to walk you around the garden. I'm going to be starting at the top of my garden next to the house and show you the progress on some of the seedlings I've got going in my cart. Let me switch over. Okay, we started some lettuce and spinach, and these are going to be my baby greens. I can't let them get too big because they will go to seed. It's still warm out. I have some flowers that I'm going to be adding down into the gardens for getting some pollinators going. My strawberries in a barrel are doing very well, and I see bright green growth, so they're very happy. This is my sweet potatoes. These are the Narasaki Japanese sweet potatoes. They're dark purple on the outside and just a light tan color on the inside, and they're supposed to have a nutty sweet flavor. So I'm looking forward to having some fabulous sweet potatoes, maybe some sweet potato chips, maybe some sweet potato fries. It's actually starting to vine up through the garden gate. Just a little quick peek into my upper enclosed garden. Got a nice little gate here. And these are my 2-year-old peach trees that are going to be getting put out into the garden this fall. I have quite a patch of different things waiting to be moved, quite a few trees. So those are all in the works. I have some nice raspberry plants and some more strawberries. So let me walk you over here. My other upper garden, my kind of transitional garden, I planted a 4x12 space on the edge of the transition to the property here. So here is my late patch of corn. Now I do have, it's kind of a Three Sisters garden. We have some, this is actually not, this is my pumpkin. These are the baby bear pumpkins. I got a few more of those to get going, and I thought, why not put them down to travel around. There's some volunteer tomatoes. I have some squash growing over here. And in between, the corn is getting some tassels on it. That's very exciting because I did plant these very late. But I have some beans growing in here. And let me get in the gates and show you. They are trying to vine. I gave them some supports. So there are some working up here. So I do have some vining going on. You can see that. And over there, there's some more tomato plants with flowers on them. So those are going. I have some squash. These got a little worse for wear out here, but there is a squash going on here. There's another pumpkin. And that's it for up here. We do have some little sunflowers trying to rejuvenate. We've had cool weather for the past week. It's been overcast. And we've had some rain, we've had a monsoon. We had a little baby haboob come over us at one point where all the dirt was blowing across the highway. And we were working on getting that, just getting through there, because that was lowering our visibility. And This is a perfect day to get out and have a little time in the garden. I have some new soil beds, pots, barrels, bags that I'm preparing because I've got potatoes, sweet potatoes, slips that I showed on a previous video, and they are just about got all their roots ready to be potted. So I'm working on getting them into some place to grow. So the other two are doing so well that I'm going to have more. And these sweet potatoes I got from the store. So there's two other kinds. One's a red garnet and one is a yellow yam. So those are taking off. So here we are up to the gate. My thankful sign, my little butterfly, and my fall pumpkins. We are hopeful to have pumpkins, so this will be fun. Gotta have something for the fall. Okay, so I'm kind of in the works of getting a new plot going. I've got some beds, some bags, grow bags that are going to be getting filled with some soil today. I have a couple of extra barrels, and the reason I've got these along here and raised up so that they can drain, but I can add drippers coming from that bed, so I can just tap into those. And in close proximity, these will come off of this bed, and we'll have some potatoes and sweet potatoes coming out here. So I'm looking forward to that. I already added the pumpkins over here, and we have some sweet flowers going on here. Ah, this one's open. Pretty. Very pretty. Now I am struggling with some ants. I did some ant bait around, and that minimized them, but it didn't really take them away. So now I have some ant stakes that I'm going to be putting out today. I'm starting back in the back end of the garden today. This is the area that I had not put into any it was all in disarray. Everything was growing on top of everything else. So I came out here last week, and this is how successfully it has taken my rearrangement. I added a trellis here, and I put the squash, the spaghetti squash, onto a trellis, and it is getting blooms again. It was a little peaked for a while, being all moved and put up into thin air. These radicchio and other cool weather plants are actually doing very well. This is one more trellis that I added in the middle because they have no place to go. And not mistakenly, but I knew they shouldn't go in here. They needed place to spread, and I just didn't have any place, and I had the seedlings, so they had to go somewhere. This is my Sakota Sweet Melon. There's quite a few of them. They just kind of took over this, and I added trellis. This is the MacGyvering of trellises. I took some trellising from 99-cent store that usually goes around a pot, and I put one going down, one going up, clipped them on, and the vines now have some place to climb. They didn't have any support, and now they do. That way my basil wasn't being covered up. I've got flowers coming through the outside, and I'm fine with that. That gives me some access. This is the kind of recovering. This was getting buried. This is my Tomatillo plant, and it was buried under all the vines, and I had to get them out from under. So I have a couple of tomato cages in here. Now, not the best support, but it was what I had at the time. But if you see here, let me open this up. If I open up my netting, you can see a little clearer. I can get in there. I have things growing and hanging off the trellis. That's a Sakota Sweet Melon. And this one is fabulous. This one has two there, a third one there, another one up here, another one just sprouting there. I'm going to have little baby melons all over the place. So I had to kind of encourage some of these to go elsewhere, just so that my poor sweet peppers, this bed is supposed to have my sweet peppers, and they are flowering, and they're trying to find room to grow. This one is finally getting some height to it, but they've struggled this year to get bigger. Now I have, this is the other tomatillo, and this is my purple basil. It's very happy and doing fabulous. So on my middle bed, I also have the same two. I have tomatillos. These are much happier in this location. The leaves are bright green. They're not eaten on. Nothing seems to be attacking them, but I do have the netting on here. Here's a very large Sakota Sweet Melon. Let me show you how big this guy is. He is getting close to being ready. He's my biggest one so far, but he is more than a handful. And I know I give these guys the he, but it could be any. Oh, you know what I think this is? I believe this is an Armenian cucumber. It's a little bit fuzzy. I know that they grew over into here and grew up into this trellis, and this is my first sign that something is going to make it over here. Very cool. Nice. This is some really sweet flowers on this tomatillo. I have not seen anything come of the flowers, have not seemed to turn into tomatillos. And I'm not sure, this is my first time trying to grow them, so maybe they like a different, I don't know. I do have one more large Armenian cucumber, pretty close to being, I'd say it's ready. I'd say this one's ready to pick. This one is getting really close. It's getting there. There's a very nice pepper. He's got a lot of room. And I've got a couple of cabbage in there. They are staying nice and green. They're doing well. I think they like this particular setup with this trellis. I did a single trellis over here as opposed to this bed where I did two beds with a trellis over. But the plants here are pretty happy with their setup. It depends on, so I'm experimenting with which way the shade, the sun works better for these plants. Now I've got a couple of newbie replacement Roma tomatoes ready to go into the garden. I had a few that didn't make it. I did transplant some more. I've got, this one's pretty ready. This one has sweet Sakota melon. My cucumber's getting bigger. It's a little guy, and it's a very little plant for having fruit already, so pretty happy about that. The bees are just getting in there, doing their job. I love watching these little guys. So look at how far this is trellising over. It's finally touching and going over the arch. They have met in the middle. Now this side, this is my wonder side. This one is just popping with watermelons. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know if you want to count this guy yet, but he's on his way. 5. He's kind of little too. They start out kind of a light green color, and then they start getting their stripes and their darker color. This one was a surprise. He's a big boy. Yes, he is. Look at him. And they have attached themselves. Some of them I've helped make sure that they have some support and added a clip. These are called, what, bulldog clips, or just stuff for the stationery. Like I said, the MacGyver of gardening here. And another one here. All right, I've already lost count. Oh, look at this. I didn't see this guy up here. He is reaching the sky. This is what I do every day. I come out, I grab these, I find a place for them and tuck them in. So that they, and this, though, so this side is getting 100% coverage over the top too. Very, very, very happy. Waiting for my flowers to get a little bigger. I had a cilantro. He's very little. He was buried under all the vines until they kind of took a dive when the heat got to them. And now he's coming back. Another sweet Sakota melon. This is my moon and stars. Gorgeous leaves, and I'm hoping I get some watermelons coming from it. They're kind of, the vine is going into there. So being that they're all vining together. And here's another very happy discovery. Finally, these are my fairy tale eggplant. They're going to be very little. They're stripy. They're so cute. I just love the color of them. And if you can grow something more colorful, more unique, more unusual, that's kind of the point of growing your own. You can't get these at the store. My beans are vining very well. Don't see any shoots yet, but I'm sure they'll pop out when they're getting ready. Wonderful. So I don't know about you guys, but I'm pretty thrilled. And I am dying to see how big these get. So here's the outside. A lot of this was toasted, crispy critter. It really has recovered quite nicely from losing water. And there's a couple that are still vining across the top, but for the most part I've managed to find a way to get these down and under, because I won't be able to harvest anything on top. Well, at least it'll be more difficult. And I have another little fabulous guy in here. Where'd he go? This is my Armenian cucumber. Okay. Change hands. Oh my gosh. He's getting fat and happy. He's leaning on some other vines, so he's got some support. If he were to fall, he wouldn't go far. And I think they're pretty tough and hardy. So you can even see one of the watermelons through this side. He's peeking through. See how I have his support on there too? Just in case. I mean, I don't want them to be pulling on the vines. My sunflower. I'm waiting any day. It's starting to form the flowers. Another purple basil. And over here I've got my fabulous green basil. Much bigger leaves, so very cool. So I've got my raised bed potting mix. I set up a couple more pots. This is my ant bait that I spread around, but I think the ant stakes are going to be more helpful in helping them be up off the ground when it's raining. If they get wet, it pretty much doesn't work anymore. So here's one of my new tomatoes, doing fabulous. I've added peppers down in some of my barrels. I'm doubling up a tomato plant that may or may not make it with another that is going to be Roma. There's stouter, stockier plants. I don't think they'll shade each other out. Plus the other one's older, I can always take it out. And I've got some here with, these are cherry tomatoes, and they've got some, this is a red cherry. And these are some of my new plants. Oh, look at that. I've got a tomato. I've got a new cherry tomato right there. And then looking over here, I have another one. And it's got two. Oh boy. For such a tiny plant, it's already setting fruit. I am finding these are mesquite seeds that have blown in. Don't want them. Make sure we pull those out as we go. And this is some more peppers that I've added in these barrels. I didn't have anything planted in these two barrels and decided to get some peppers going. So there's two more. I got some shade cloth in front of these until they get a little happier. Here's my Swiss chard, getting bigger, doing well, happy. So, just wanted to share how happy I am with this growth. Today is August 13th. We have stuff ready to harvest, and we've had a great week. We've had a week of glorious cool weather in the 90s and very low hundreds, and for out here, that's growing time. So very happy with that. And I will leave you with a little view at splendor we have out here on this cool high clouds day above my fabulous garden in Havasu Heights at Hummingbird Heights Garden. And I wish you a blessed day and see you next time. Thank you, friends.